Good afternoon, everyone. It's 20 to 5 here on Tuesday, the 8th of December. And as always in these, I'm looking at VectorVest US, the US market running slightly over 2 hours. The market had a bit of a slow start. I'll look at the intraday data in a second. But at this juncture, the advances are slightly greater than that. The declines, and the market's up a little bit on yesterday's close. 92 points on the Dow. We'll have a look at the S&P in a second. All of the measures of the trend on VectorVest are up. Nothing has changed since I last reported here, with the market and the American markets in a mega overbought situation. MTI 1.618 and the buy-sell ratio up at 5.53. So folks, although this market is going up, it is stretched. So just be very careful indeed. I'm holding quite a few positions myself. I've added a few positions since I've last spoken. Glad to report that they're all going okay, but I am nervous. And remember, for me, those are short-term swing trading positions. If the market should turn, then I will run for the door fairly fast. I'm now going to look at the S&P itself, and there's the S&P, and we had a gapped. It opened up 10 S&P points below yesterday's close, at just 10 down, and it done its best to run the lows of yesterday as well, and now it's turning and pushing above the high of yesterday. So a break of that inside day would be very positive indeed. So this market, although it's overbought, still looks very strong on the upside, and I'm holding positions in the American market. I am very aware that the market is stretched. I'm still optimistic that this market can move strongly over the next couple of weeks. As I mentioned to you, certainly at the international group on Saturday, and to the VectorVest Q&A people on Monday afternoon, there's no significant divergence between the price of the VectorVest composite and the buy-sell ratio, and that's positive. Although it's overbought, there's no divergence, and with any luck, we've got a little bit more in this move before we see a reversal. So if I look at the positions that I'm holding, I've added apps last Friday. I've held AMD. The stop there's at entry. Pins, Upwork. Upwork has had a very good day, and I'm just going to show you the chart because it is a really good example of what I try and get across. It couldn't be simpler, folks. We put volume up. We see that this gapped on huge volume, and then it pulls back on falling volume, and then it pulled back to that last old high, and that's what I call, what Mr. Wyckoff called so many years ago, a sweet spot. A really wonderful leading indicator of change is this ramp up in earnings per share, where this company is going from losing money to about break even. That's a search, folks, that you can do on VectorVest very easily indeed. And if you run every weekend, if you actually run a earnings per share delta search or rate of change search, then you'll find an awful lot of swing trading opportunities very easily indeed. This was a beautiful entry. If I blow it up a little bit more, you either had to suck a great deal of air and just buy the level, all right, just in there, or there was a nice green bar and you could have bought in at that open. I bought in at that open, and I'm glad to report that it's moving my way, and I'll be getting my stop loss up to entry in that relatively quickly. Clearly the next target is this old high. Let's see how it goes. Volume is starting to pick up. A breakout of that high on big volume would be very positive indeed. Apps going okay, and reasonably happy with the rest of them, and the stops are at entry on most of them. Roku has been the star. It's well up again today, and that's Roku. And that was my entry just there. That's what old traders used to refer to as a 1, 2, 3. You can see this ramp up in earnings per share, but what's really good here is the volume. Markets rising and rising volume, pulling back and falling volume, rising on rising volume. Volume not coming to the party a lot at the moment, but that's a trade that's up from I think 220 to 305, and I think you would agree we need a great deal more of those. So reasonably happy with that, but folks, just remember this is not the time for long and extensive fishing trips. I think that you need to keep your eye on these. The narrative is good, the vaccine narrative is good. If that narrative were to in fact change, then we could see a wonderful big snap back here. Alright, so let's just keep our eye on that. Now the next place I want to go to is the gold market, folks. In the gold market, that's the bullion market, and it's pulled back in this textbook, as you know. Those of you that are fib people will know that that's 78% of that. It's pushed up here. Now, our 8-day stochastic is starting to become a little bit overbought here. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a pullback here. But nevertheless, we've closed above this level. If I can find my trend line, and that's what technical traders refer to as an overlap. That was very positive yesterday. So I've bought a little bit in the UK of polymetal. Based on that, and got in at a reasonable level, well below £17. If I do see a pullback here, and I think we will get a pullback here sooner or later, with any luck, the next really classy buying signal will be when this 8-day stochastic goes back down below 20 again. In other words, hopefully we're going to get a market that moves back, and then I can't do that properly. A market that moves back and then starts to motor like this. Okay, so the stochastic should get down there. That would be a great place to add to positions or add some new positions. So if we go to the UK where the polymetal is sitting, that's the UK market. Buy-sell ratio huge. MTI getting up into a mega overbought situation like the US. And if I look at my list, nothing much has changed here. I need to sort those by RT, obviously. And GB Group has been great. Games Workshop back above £100. I added to that about a week ago, I can't remember when, at the lows. It was a great textbook swing trade at the lows. Now the one I've bought into polymetal. Let's find polymetal. Yeah, here we go. Polymetal, and that's the chart again for those people that are fib analysts. It stopped at the 78% retracement, and if we blow it up a little bit, that was yesterday's market action, folks, and I managed to get in somewhere around there. So hopefully a stop loss needs to be well down or under these lows here. And with any luck, we've got a big one on our hands here. By all means buy into gold stocks now, but I think that you'll find that they will pull back, and sometimes the best trades never pull back, but I think that you'll find that it'll pull back a little bit now and give you a good place to enter maybe some of the marginal mines. So that's what I've been doing. Now, one share in the UK is causing consternation, and that is Avon Rubber. I think I've got now. Avon Rubber's been a great share for us in VectorVest UK. I bought into it when the DEW turned up here at £25 on April the 8th, not 7th, April the 7th. Wasn't an easy trade to take because there was doom and gloom, and London was like a zombie movie on April the 8th. This share has moved from the range from 25 odd to 45, which this is a great little company. The earnings, the report that came out the other day, I thought the results were great. It's pulling back and it's scaring the living daylights out of an awful lot of people. Is this a double top? Well, it may be, folks, so we need to watch it. But my stomach tells me that it will attract bidders somewhere down around these lows. Where that low is, let's just have a look where that low is. I think that's where it is today. So that's 37.80, folks, that low. So I would not expect this to be bid above that low, because all the institutional orders will be selling here. So I think that you'll find bids coming into this at about a 36, 37 level. I'm still holding mine, and if I see this coming down here and reversing, then I shall be adding to that position, folks. If I can manage to scrape together a few quid, I shall be adding to that position in the same way as I added to Games Workshop the other day. If you want the big moves, then you have to handle. Shares don't go up in straight lines, folks. They run and then they consolidate, waiting for the earnings to catch up. So I would expect this to be bid somewhere above 35, 36, 37. Very difficult to handle the drawdown, that's for sure, especially if you've bought into it at the 45 level. Then you're going to have to sweat it out here a little bit. Okay, so I think it's still good, and you can see that shares do this all the time. If we have a look at the GB group, the GB group that's going great guns now did pretty much the same thing. You see how it came back and ran those lows, and that's what I call, if anybody ever looks at my work, that's what I call a Wyckoff spring, made famous not by myself but by a gentleman called Richard Wyckoff 100 years ago. And as you can see, down around that level, I was so pleased at our Q&A Monday afternoon. I said, if you want to be a really aggressive swing trader, then you've got to have the ability just to do it at the level. And I was so pleased to hear that quite a few people had done that. So they're in at 8, and this thing is steaming up the page at 9. As you can see, it pulled back and reversed yesterday afternoon. With any luck, there's still an awful lot of legs in this. We bought into this again just here at April, on April the 7th or 8th, and that share is a 50% up. And we don't find those that often in the UK market, and that is just a great trade. I didn't add to this here. I should have, but I didn't. Okay, the money that I had, I'd allocated for polymetal, and that money I managed to get invested this morning. Okay, so gold market, probably a little bit overbought, needs to pull back a little bit. Stock market's going great guns in both countries, on both sides of the pond. If we go back to the American market again, we can see that everything's pretty much the same. The Dow is still up those 90 points, and the S&P is pushing on that old high above 3,700. I think it can get much higher here with the vaccine, and certainly this bipartisan approach to the stimulus that would seem to be on the cards in the US. So no fishing trips, folks. Keep your eyes on your stop losses, and in this type of mega overbought situation, do not hesitate on those stop losses. Just remember, you can always get back in again if the situation changes. I hope you find this useful, and I'll do another one towards the end of the week. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.